everybody. Welcome to the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute. It's your girl Sharita and my mini-me baby girl Maya. We're here to talk to you a little bit about how to get our kids improving their reading and also their math at home. Listen, this is going to be good today. So get you a notebook and notepad. But anyway, the checklist is going to be in the comments. If you want the checklist, okay, it's going to be in the comments. But also take notes, honey. Take notes. Hang this up. Share to your page so that other moms and dads can see this, because this summertime now. School is starting in September. One thing that I'm really big on is working on key skills over the summer. Anything that our kids are behind in, need to work on and grow in, we work on that during the summer. Like, we really amp it up, okay? So that in the fall, when school starts, they're not behind the game, okay? Running behind the bus. They driving the bus, okay? So I'm going to be telling you, I did this. I'm going to give you a little review of last week. Last week we worked on reading. This week we're working on math. I'm going to be giving you just 6 of the things that I assess when I do my action plans, when I do my assessment for my students coming in, when I want to find out if they have a very strong math foundation or a very strong literacy foundation. There are 6, there are more than 6, but I'm giving you 6, okay? Things that you need to assess with your child and make sure they have. Make sure they have, so that their reading foundation, their math foundation can start to be solid. And then when you send them to school, any grade that they're in, if they have this foundation down, any grade that they're in, when the teacher is throwing new stuff at them, they'll be better able to handle it and manage it because they have all the basics down. All right? Let's get ready. Let's get started. Wait, before that.
If you're new, my name is Maya Morgan.
This is Maya Morgan. I'm Sharita Morgan. I just got so excited. I want to tell you about everything. I'm a behavior and learning strategist. Like I said, coming to you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. That's why we improve our children's focus, behavior, reading, and math right from home, so we can send our kids to school equipped for success. Don't miss out on my summer program coming up. It's going to be very intense. I'm going to work my students, okay? I'm going to be working my students, okay? This summer, you want more information about the summer program? You want your child to be learning the basics? Back up. You want your child to be learning the basics, get a strong foundation, find out whatever they are missing, work on that and learn that, and learn grade level material and be challenged above their grade level. Honey, that's what we do here, okay?
That's what we do.
Okay?
That's what we do.
Speaking of which, this is Maya. She is in the grade.
Kindergarten, about to be in first grade.
About to be in first grade, but we're just doing in my program, we're just doing 4th grade level work. Reading comprehension, vocabulary, and I was really surprised by what she is able to do today, okay? So she's reading way above grade level, and she's reading comprehension is way above grade level. We're working on that math too. So that's what we do at the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute. Excuse me. So Maya is going to help us just review really quickly last week's topics. Go ahead. Last week's topic. Number 1.
Last week's topic.
Number 1.
Number 1. Letter sounds.
Letter
Does your
sounds.
kids know your letter sounds?
Very good. Number 2.
Put in the comments if they do. Number 2. Does your child know difference between vowel is the consonants?
Vowels and consonants. Very good. The difference between vowels and consonants. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a second. Maya's just doing a quick review. All right, number 3, Maya.
Okay, so I think a lot of your child know your sight words.
She's singing it. Sight words, right? Sight words. Make sure they know all the sight words. And I'm talking about, well, I'll talk to y'all more about that in a second. And number 4. Quickly, babe.
Number 4 is does your child know how to improve your spelling?
Do they know how to? Do they need to improve their spelling? We work on that too, and that should be something we're doing all the time. Okay. All right. Number 5, Maya.
Number 5. Does your child know how to write a paragraph?
Does your child know how to write a paragraph?
Paragraph.
Listen. I teach them how to write paragraphs from when they first come into my program. My students start learning how to read immediately. And you have to be at least 4 years old to start in my program.
You said 3.
No. I never said 3. Never said 3. You had to wait until you were 4 years old even.
No.
No, you're remembering it differently.
No, I'll cheat and give the answers when I was 3.
Well, she was trying to be in the online classes when she was 3 years old. She
And
learned
I'm
a
giving
lot
the answers.
doing that, and
And
just
I'm
giving. I
silly.
used to have to kick her out of the room, so she's right about that.
I
All right, number 6.
remember sitting on your lap doing Build a House. That was my favorite game.
It was.
When I was doing it with Naeem, Marvin.
Yeah, sometimes I
Diana.
let her participate. She was only 3. All right, number 6. Read number 6.
Number 6. Does your child know how to? Does your child understand what they read? Question.
Almost. 8N. That's an 8N.
Cancer.
Understand what they read and answer questions. Can they answer the questions? Okay. So those are the things. I'm going to do a quick review on that. And then we're going to go on to math for today. It's going down like James Brown, okay? But first, Maya's going to say goodbye. She's going to go hang out with her dad upstairs.
Wait, what?
We already talked about this. Don't even try it. Say bye to everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a good Saturday.
And say thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching our video. Peace. Just kidding.
All right. Upstairs with your dad. All right. And now it's just us adults. Well, not really. I have one of my students here working her right. Diana, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
All right. Text it to me when you finish. You can start typing. So we are doing a lot today, all right? We're doing a lot today. But now, let's get into it. Oh, my gosh. Let me tell y'all something, first of all. I love teaching. I love teaching. And I've done a couple of different careers in my life, but I ended up here. I was a teacher. I was a mental health specialist and a special education teacher. First, I was a mental health specialist. Then I saw a lot of the kids that used to come to our partial hospitalization program. They used to act out and throw tantrums and everything when they had to do their homework because they couldn't read, they couldn't write, they couldn't do the work on their own. So they used to get really upset, and we were managing behavior and trying to help them with the homework at the same time. And I was like, something wrong with this, okay? And I figure that there's a correlation between acting out behaviors in the classroom and the inability to do the work or function independently. So I'm a big proponent on teaching. I'm really big on teaching kids how to do their own work, function independently. You don't need an A. You don't need the teacher or the A to read everything for you, to do it with you step by step, okay? My class earlier, I had a 3rd grader, and then Maya was there. She's in kindergarten. She's going to the 1st grade. So I had a 3rd grader going to the 4th grade, and then 2 on their way to 1st grade. And they were writing down the questions for a reading comprehension packet we were doing, and they were answering it on their own. And I was not right next to them. I was over here in the living room. I would peek around, but absolutely no talking, pencil moving, thinking, getting your work done. When you're done with your work and you check it over, be ready when I come back. That's when you call for an adult. So I know that when I say that, a lot of people might be like, that's a little too much. You might, maybe they need help. I want us to please stop thinking our kids need so much help. What they need is to be equipped to do it on their own so they can handle a bigger challenge, so they can learn everything they need to learn. If they cannot do their work on their own, a lot of times kids become unfocused in class. A lot of times kids become distracted. A lot of times kids act out, especially when they're forced to sit and do work that they don't know how to do. So we have to teach them to sit, to focus, to be accountable for their work, and then equip them at the same time, build up that literacy foundation and that math foundation so they feel excited to do it on their own. And this is what I'm getting from my students. So this is what I want for all kids, your babies too, is to feel good and be like, I got this. And they just go ahead and do it, okay? So this has been my life's work, y'all. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, teaching kids, improving kids' behavior, focus, and learning at the same time, helping them understand that they absolutely can do it and they better do it, okay? I'm tough. They absolutely can do it. They better do it. Do a good job. And you don't have to be perfect. Just get better every single day. But no giving up. Look at it. Figure it out. Think it through. Tell me what you think the answer is. Even if you don't know for sure, tell me what you think the answer is, okay? So I'm going to give you some of, we already did the literacy part. When students come in, my favorite is literacy, okay? That's something that's on my mind all day, all the time, all right? Even if I'm telling my daughter to do something, and that's ever since she was little, I'm going to say, all right, Maya, come over here and clean up your ROOM. It's time to take your NAP, right? All right. Come on, wash your hands because it's time for you to have LUNCH, right? So that's something that has, oh my gosh, I absolutely love reading. I love words. I'm a big word nerd, and I love to teach kids how to read, and I love when they get excited about reading as well. And then there's math, okay? Math I wasn't teaching at first, but I had moms that were requesting math as well. So I started teaching math as well, and now we're teaching math and literacy. All right. Oh, wait. Announcements. I want to announce we have students of the month for each group. Early learning group. Congratulations, big congratulations to Deja Francois. Good job, girl. Big congratulations. All right, we got beginners elementary group. And congratulations to Soraya Hogan. Go ahead, girl. And she's about to be promoted to advanced elementary group. Okay, let's see, advanced elementary group. My girl, my little champion's been with me since she was 4 years old. Okay, and that is Arciana Edwards. Good job, RC, student of the month. Okay, and then let's see, a middle high school group. I have, this is my big athlete in the program. So I have athletes in the program, but this, I mean, she is like a professional athlete right now. Always traveling, always competing, always going out of state. You know what I mean? We have to switch the schedule around sometimes for her, and I don't even mind it. Because for my athletes who are busy out there doing their thing, or my students who have outside activities and they're doing that and this, I definitely make accommodations for her. So I want to say big congratulations to Carly Davis. You did it, girl. Good job, good job. To be a student of the month, you have to earn 4 to 5 points on average each class, and then be the best student in the classroom, meaning show the most leadership, okay? So great job to everybody. And then we have a couple of promotions on the way. We have Lexi getting promoted from the early learning group. She's getting too big, got to move her up, to beginners elementary group. Good job, Lexi. All right. All right. Alexis H. Young. And then we also have, oh, Demario just got promoted, okay? Demario Kerr, good job, Demario. He just got promoted too, okay? And then one more promotion underway. Oh my gosh, who else is getting promoted? That I just talked to her about today. Soraya Hogan, I just talked to her about that today. And she's on her way to getting promoted as well. So great job, everybody. Keep up the good work. Ms. Rita's proud of you. Keep moving, keep going to the next level, because we don't stop. All right, now without further ado, last week's topic was on reading. So we got reading, and then we have math over here, okay? See, my marker's not working like they did last week because Maya been in here. I put on a math video for her. I put on a math video for her to watch on second grade level. and she was writing on a board and doing the work on the board as she's watching the video. By the way, if you have your kids watching videos at home where they're learning, make sure they are writing at the same time, either a paper or a board. Okay, so this is reading and this is math. Woo! Okay, all right. So after we go through this, I'll be in the Zoom room for anybody who has any questions. The Zoom after party, send us a message and we'll send you the link. So letter sounds. Does your child know their letter sounds? Make sure they know all the letter sounds and the letter combinations and the consonants and the consonant blends, I meant to say, digraphs, right? Word letters, a sound that make the ch sound, the two letters that make the ch sound, or the ing word sound, right? Suffixes, prefixes, the sounds. Focus on the sounds, okay? Not just the letters, but the sounds. And have them be able to isolate them in words and just pretend like they're their own word. Treat each part like it's his own word, okay? Make sure they know letter sounds, okay? Also, make sure they know their alphabet and I can identify all the letters, uppercase letters and lowercase letters, okay? And then also, because that's not up there, make sure they are not writing any letters backwards. If you see your child writing letters backwards, they need to work on that. That becomes a goal, okay? So these are the things that I look for when it comes to letters when I'm doing my assessment. Number 2, difference between vowels and consonants. The reason why this is big is because I use the vowels to teach my students how to read and teach my students how to spell. So there's a strategy that I use that incorporates the vowels, and all my students know them. So they must know the vowels. And then when they learn the vowels, they'll be better able to get through these words, all right? Multi-syllabic words, especially. Learning these vowels, a lot of times the vowels will trip them up, okay? Next one is sight words. I was talking to my students today. We had 2 students, like I said, in the group, Soraya and Lexi, who are on their way to getting promoted to the next level, but they need to master their sight words. I have the dope sight word list. I've been teaching kids for years now how to read all those words straight through from top to bottom. It's over 300 words. And when they accomplish that, they're ready for their promotion, all right? Amongst other things. But that's like the key into it. When I feel like they're ready, I assess that. Make sure your child knows their sight words. And if your child's struggling with their sight words, then when they're trying to read, it's going to really hold them back, okay? And they'll become more fluent if they know all the sight words. Now, if they're reading a sentence and they know all the sight words and they're like bam, bam, bam all through the sentence, but then when they get to these multi-syllabic words that they have to break up, right, decoding skills, then that's the only thing you got to focus on, right? That's their goal, to learn how to sound out and break up words. But if they know their sight words, you don't have to focus on that too. So if your baby start from scratch, they don't know their sight words and they struggle with multi-syllabic words, both of those you got to focus on. You get those sight words down, their reading is going to improve a lot. And then you just focus on teaching them how to sound out these multi-syllabic words. And then after that, I mean, come on. You see Amaya reading in here, right? After they learn how to read, honey, they read stuff that you never even taught them. You don't even know how they read them. I never taught her a lot of these words up here. Some of these words she's reading for the first time. But that's how it happens, because your brain learns how to put this stuff together now. So you don't have to know the word even before you read it. This is what I see with the kids, all right? Next, write a paragraph. Our kids, a lot of kids in schools don't write enough. Writing is so important. Being able to write a paragraph, being able to edit it themselves before they type it up or go to a device and go to a computer. We're not using any cell phones to look up words or how to spell it. We're not looking up, we're not typing it in and letting the computer adjust the punctuation for us to tell us how to do it. Absolutely not. Give them a sheet of paper and pen, or paper and pencil. Have them sit down and have them connect with their writing and have them learn how to edit and revise their writing, okay? Give you a final draft. After all that, then they can type it. And that's what my girl over here, Diane, is doing a great job. All right, next is understand what they read and answer questions. I get that a lot from moms. A lot of moms, when they come in, they talk about how their child can read, but they don't know what they read. And I say this over and over again. Like, this is really something we need to stress. If your child's reading and they can read it, but they don't know what they read, then they are going with the mechanics of reading, but they're not connected to their reading. They're not connected to the story or the article, like they would be connected to a TV show, right? Or a movie, right? Hello, Asrani. Welcome if you're just joining. Okay, we getting our kids ready. We starting right now in the summertime, getting them ready for school, okay? We're going to give them a big boost by working on these things at home. So when it comes to reading comprehension, a big part of that is having your child connect with what they are reading. Build that connection. Be able to talk about it. Be able to talk about it out loud. And if they read and then and it's like, can your child understand what they're reading and then answer questions? If they read it, but then they can't answer the questions, then you know that they don't comprehend what they're reading. And do not let them go back into the paragraph and find the answer. No. Nobody, one of my students asked me to do that today. Absolutely not. We don't do that here. We don't do that because we want to train ourselves in our brains. We want to improve our memory, but we want to train ourselves to really connect with what we're reading and find the importance, when we're reading, important key terms, important ideas. Okay, I see it. Thank you, Hannah. I just got disconnected, so I'm going to go back a little bit, talking about the reading comprehension, right? So do not allow your child to go back into the story to find the answer. Don't let them read the story, have the story right here, and have the questions right here. And then they read the question and they go back trying to find the answer. Absolutely not. That means your child did not comprehend what they read. It's not just about them getting work done. It's about them understanding what they read. So make them stretch and make sure they are thinking and trying to remember and trying to draw connections and make inferences without going back into the text. So have them read it. After a while, they'll pay more attention when they're reading, and they'll get more answers correct. Okay. So if they read and they try to look back in here, take that text away. All right. All right. Next is, okay, so that's reading. That was last week, okay? We did reading. And it looks like my laptop is out. Y'all hold on 1 second. I'll be right with you. Oh, I know. Hold on 1 second. Miss Reading doing like 1,000 things at one time, and we're gonna make it happen, all right? We're gonna make it happen. All right, and I had my essential oils going too. Y'all. Smelling good, but I had to unplug something. Right? So here we go. All right, good. So next, what we're going to do. Okay, next what we're going to do is, let me see, math. All right, let's get into math. I know I was talking about it. I cannot wait to talk about math because I already talked about literacy last week. Literacy is my first true love, y'all. Literacy, I was that nerd. I was doing spelling bees when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? But my second love is math. So a lot of kids in school, when we're struggling with math, struggling with the basics, right? And I'm not going to start talking about these things first. What I'm going to do, because I'm getting my laptop back on, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tell you, there we go, rejoin. What I'm going to tell you is, like I said, 6 areas, 6 things that I work on or I assess when students come into my program, okay? All right? Number one, a major goal in the beginning. I check this. Even if my students are in middle school or high school, I still check it. And the reason I check it is because a lot of times we can assume that our kids know things, but if we don't do a real assessment, we won't really actually know. Sometimes we are surprised, okay? So one of the things that I do is I find out if my students can identify and write their numbers correctly all the way up to 100. And I mean, when they get to, like if they get to 29, knowing it's 30 afterwards. Sometimes kids struggle with that. And 39, knowing it's 40. 49, knowing it's 50, right? So sometimes they struggle with that, and we have to fill in those blanks. Sometimes they write their numbers backwards, okay? So when we assess this, we want to make sure they're writing the numbers correctly, and we also want to make sure that no numbers are backwards, and we want to listen to them and hear them count from 1 to 100, okay? All right, hello Anna, welcome. All right, got Miss Hannah back. Let me go back and get. I had a little technical difficulties here. Let me see, Diana's still here. Good job, Diana. I lost you for a second, girl. We back. I'm glad she didn't leave. She could have just went and left and got on the plane. Okay. Number 2, skip counting. Oh my gosh, this is so important. I teach this to all my students coming in if they don't have it down, okay? I want to know, can you count by 10s? Can you count by 5s? Can you count by 2s? And after that, we good, because then we're going to work on multiplication with the other ones. But the thing is that when kids are skip counting, that's preparing them for multiplication. I encounter a lot of kids who don't know their multiplication tables from young all the way up until high school, okay? And even past high school, sometimes adults. You know what I mean? Some of us may not have conquered that when we were younger, right? So this is very important. So I teach my students all the way from when they first get into the program, when they're the youngest students, 4 years old, I teach them that, okay? So that when they get older, they're not struggling because they don't know how to count by 10s. They don't understand the concept. They can't count by 10s. They can't count by 5s. And they can't count by 2s, right? So I teach that to them. When they're older, if they come in and they need it, I do it as well. Make sure your child can do skip counting, okay? And number 3, adding and subtracting without using fingers or manipulatives, okay? After your child passes, I'm going to say, all right, I might be a little tough on this, all right? But I'm just going to go by the way I teach my students. After they pass the first grade, they should not need to use their fingers or manipulatives anymore to add. They should know them. So we want our students, we want our kids to, you ask them what's 3 plus 5, and they're like 8. Quickly. 8 plus 8, 16. Okay? And a lot of the things that I make sure students have when they come into my program, I teach them, is based off of what I see kids struggling with when they're older. So I have students come to me when they're older, and when it's time to count, they have to slow down, or time to add single digit numbers, they have to slow down, they have to think, they have to use their fingers. They drawing sticks on the paper. If you see your child doing that, this is emergency. We have to make sure that they practice that. And listen, we're not going to leave it up to the schools to do it, y'all, because by the time they get in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, all the way up until high school, they're teaching 5th grade level curriculum, right? 6th grade curriculum, 7th grade curriculum, right? That's what they're teaching. And they do differentiate learning, but there are a bunch of kids in the classroom. At home, it's us and our babies. So if we want our children to catch up quickly, we have to assess for these areas and work on them at home. I don't care what the school is saying that they are going to work on with your child, or what if your child has an IEP, what's in the IEP that they said that they're going to make sure they have. Understand this. Your child is one child of a bunch of children who have IEPs. All right? So that means that they are spreading their staff amongst everyone. All right? So If you want your child to conquer this, and think about how much better your child's life would be when they learn these and conquer these areas, okay? You want your child to conquer them, they need to work on them now. They need to work on them every day, okay? Work on them every day. Get one of these in your house, all right? I have several, okay? Get one of these in your house, especially for math. Math and spelling. It's amazing what happens on a whiteboard in the house, okay? Turn your home into a learning environment, okay? All right? So we got identify right numbers up to 100. We got skip counting, adding and subtracting without using fingers or manipulatives. When mine was really young, like 2 years old. When Jazzy was really young, my oldest was 15 right now, ziti noodles. We take ziti noodles, you know what I mean? And take the box and shake them out. Maya like to eat the she try to eat the noodles, the dry noodles. I'm like, girl, that's not what this boy, I gotta cook it. But have them, take 3 plus 5, separate 3 and 5, add them together. That's the beginning. Once your child can do that, have them start thinking. Have them work on their fingers and then drill them over and over and over and over again until they just know it, okay? You think that's hard? You think that's being hard on your kids? I see my students being excited when it's their turn for the drill, all right? So don't worry about pushing your kids too hard, or if they might not want to do it, or if they don't know it. Kids feel so good when they can do it themselves. Kids feel so good when they can accomplish something, or they're getting better in something that they were struggling in before. Do not be afraid, all right? All right. The next, number 4, multiplication and division. New development today. Maya gave me an idea because I'm teaching her multiplication, okay? And she's like, division? Because she was watching a math video I put on, and she was working on the board, so she wanted to try division. And usually I teach multiplication by itself, multiplication tables, right? Multiplication facts. But now I'm going to do both. So we have them do 2 times 1 is, this is how I drill my students. 2 times 1 is, 2 times 2 is, 2 times 3 is, 2 times 4 is, 2 times 5 is, 2 times 6. And they start, and it takes them a while to get it. They have to practice that. They got to sit down and write it. Then we start over. 2 times 1 is, 2 times 2 is, 2 times 3 is, right? So now 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. All right. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is, right? Or 6 divided by 3 is. So that's a good idea. I just got that from Maya today. There's always new strategies going on here. You know what I mean? But that's a good idea. I'm going to start teaching my students multiplication and then division at the same time. All right? So let's do that. Let's make sure that our kids know multiplication and division. No, say this with me, no more calculators. No calculators. Do not allow them to use calculators. Okay, I know what y'all gonna say. They use calculators in school. That's school. This is home. Okay? You're their parent. Do you want your child to have to rely on a calculator to do simple math all the way up until high school and after? Or how would you feel if your child could sit down and work out a math problem? They ain't thinking about it. They're not sure about this, but they can figure it out and get to the right answer. And then feel excited that they got it right. They'd be like, oh, I got it right? Yeah, you got it right. You go ahead. That's what I'm talking about. Which would you prefer? And which scenario do you think that they would prefer? Okay? Do you think they want to? It might feel comfortable now. It might be easy now. But do you think it would make them feel good about themselves if they can figure it out, or they remember it themselves, or they know how to do it themselves? If that's the case, man, throw that calculator. No calculators. No calculators, no old school calculators, no calculators in the phone. Make sure that our kids do this math. This is going to improve not just their math, it's going to improve their test taking, okay? It's going to improve their critical thinking skills. It's going to improve their attention, paying attention to detail. That's one of the goals of my students and their action plans. pay attention to detail, okay? When they don't have to really, when they look at the math really quickly and they could just take a calculator and do something and then put an answer, they're not connected to the math problem. They didn't really pay attention to the details. They're not thinking. The calculator is a crutch, okay? It's a crutch, and it would keep your child handicapped in math. Throw it away, all right? Throw it away. No calculators. If I'm in class and one of my students get caught using the calculator, everybody else be like, no. We don't do that here. All right, for math, number 1, identify and write numbers up to 100. Number 2 is skip counting. Number 3, adding and subtracting without using fingers or manipulatives, because we got it like that, because we dope like that, because that's what we do, right? Number 4, multiplication and division, okay? Number 5, one of my favorites. Now, the previous 4 is like, that's really foundational, especially if your child is like in the 5th grade, 4th grade. You know what I mean? This is their foundation. After we get this foundation down, or even while, I'm maybe gonna lie, because I challenge my students above their grade level and while we're building up this foundation. Then we go on to the next thing. But before I tell you what the next thing is, I want to remind you that there's a Zoom after party, okay? So if you have any questions, you want to talk to me about what we're discussing today, or are you looking for a tutor, want to get involved in the summer program, right? Enroll your child into the summer program, then you message us, just ask for the Zoom link, we'll message you and we'll see you afterwards, okay? So that's a Zoom after party. Now, are y'all ready for number 5? Are y'all ready for number 5? Because it's one of my favorites. All right. Once we get those basics down, okay? Or we making progress in those basics, because I be throwing everything at my students. And this is why they're able to always embrace the challenge. Another one of the goals. Number 5 is adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing multi-digit numbers. Okay? You want your child to get really comfortable with big numbers. So it's one thing to add 7 plus 3. It's another thing to add 736 plus 455. And we want our children to get comfortable with those numbers and attack and know what to do with it, whether they have to carry or not, okay? And the same thing with subtraction. Same thing with multiplication, same thing with division, okay? So it's like the simple math, like skip counting. It's like the multiplication tables and division, you know what I mean? And it's all of that stuff, but then it's like on steroids, because you have to add a lot multiple times in this multi-digit problem, okay? Or you have to subtract a lot, or you have to multiply a lot, and there are multiple steps. So now you're teaching your child, you're reinforcing the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division they learned on a lower level. You're reinforcing that. They're getting more practice, but now they're learning strategy, and now they're learning how to think through a problem and figure it out, okay? So that's one of my favorites when we get there. I'm telling you, I love that, okay? Oh man, that's not one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites. Here is another favorite, a big favorite, okay? The last one, number 6, all right? So let's say you got the first one, identify and write numbers up to 100. You got your child doing all of this, right? Not perfectly, because this is a growth process, and what we're looking for is not perfection, but growth every single day. And we want your child growing in their confidence every single day. We want them to go at the new problems and not be running away from it, okay? So when you see all that going on and everything, you want to include this, all right? Another one of my favorites. You want your child to be able to read, understand, solve, and create their own math problems. What? Now you say, I meant to say math word problems, but you can do this with the math problems too. I did it today, okay? Actually, I did it yesterday. We're learning how to borrow, okay? 4 digits, minus 4 digits, right? And we did a couple that I just put on the board, okay? Then I'm like, okay, you make up 5, and then you solve them yourself. When you get your child to create the problem themselves, then they go to a higher level of learning, a higher level of thinking. It's more active learning, not so much passive. You give me the problem and let's see if I can figure it out. But if they have to create it, they will understand everything about the problem, how it works from A to Z. And then you teach them how to not only do that with numbers, but also with words. Oh my goodness. Teaching kindergarten kids how to create a word problem? Are you serious? Okay? First of all, they have to know how to read it. Okay? This is why we read everything in my program, okay? And then you want you to make sure that you have your child read everything at home. Don't read directions for them. Don't read the questions for them. Don't have them sit down and say, okay, you got homework today. All right, so what you have to do is, and then read the directions for them. Like, you paying attention? You paying attention? Come on, you have to do this. All right, sit down. Now, number one, this is what you have to do. This is the question. Now, what's the answer? We gotta stop doing that, because you know why? That's you and your baby at home. But in the classroom, they don't have you in the classroom. So that means that they're gonna be sitting there waiting for the teacher to do the exact same thing. And the aide to do the exact same thing. It's too many kids. Okay? So you want them to read it themselves. So we read everything. We read in math. We read in literacy class. We read all the time, because I want them to be able to read the word problem themselves and understand it, discuss it, understand it, explain it, solve it, and then create their own. So these are the six areas that I assess. Well, it's not the whole thing, but 6 of the things that I assess, areas of skills that I assess when my students are coming into my tutoring coaching program, and then I create an action plan for us to work on and conquer all of those things, okay? So when you do your assessment, you do your math assessment, you find out what your child can do. And this is what I tell them when they come. Like, you don't have to be perfect. Some of the stuff I'm going to ask you to do, you may know. Some of the stuff you may not know. All I ask is that you rock with me to the end, okay? And tell yourself, if I don't know it, I will know it, okay? So then you start assessing. Let them know some things are going to be easy. Let them know if they don't know the answer, it's okay, because that's only temporary. So you assess these areas and see what your child knows and what they don't know. And whatever they don't know is now a goal. Also, assess how your child's behavior changes when they're doing the work, okay? So they might get really excited when it's counting by 5s, because they really know it and they look confident. And then when it's time to add a multi-digit number with a multi-digit number, they start looking around, they start dropping their pencil, they ask to use the bathroom, they look nervous, right? So assess behavior too, because that's also going to be part of the action plan. Embrace the challenge, okay? That's one of the goals. Embrace the challenge. Pay attention to detail, okay? Remain in my seat, all right? Whatever your child needs so that they can have the right structure, and they also can conquer their fears about learning, and they also can get from A to B with this, write it down. Create an action plan, all right? Now, imagine, I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'm going to let y'all get out of here. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let y'all go back to your families and everything, unless you want to hang with me in Zoom for a little bit. Then send a message, and we'll send you the link. Just imagine. Right now, it's starting June, in the beginning of June, right? My kids are going to be finished school very soon, okay? The 22nd is Maya's last day of school. Well, yeah, their last day of school is 22nd. So, July and August are growth months, especially if your child is behind. So imagine if you take July and August and figure out an action plan. Do an assessment, figure out an action plan, right? Create the action plan and hang it up on the fridge and start having them work on it every day. All right? You're not taking their summer away. You're changing their lives, okay? That's what you're doing. You're changing your child's life, okay? So I want us to reframe how we're thinking, because if we don't take this time to do this, Then they go back to school, still struggling. They have not improved. There's no progress. Matter of fact, in the summertime, they actually go backwards, okay? And they still have very low confidence. Or we can work these next 2 months, unless you finish already. Some of my students have finished already. They're in different parts of the country. Next 2 months for growth. These are growth months. They can still have their summer. They still have fun. But they're going to be working to grow themselves every single day for a little bit. Or they could just be around the house like, I'm bored, and going in the refrigerator every 5 seconds and driving you crazy, okay? Put some structure in their summer. Put some learning, a customized action plan for growth in behavior, focus, literacy, and math. You're changing the game. You're changing the game. Hi, Basha. Welcome, welcome. We're wrapping up right now, but I'm going to be in this Zoom after party afterwards if you have any questions. Other than that, hashtag replay on this, okay? There's a lot of good information here on the 6 areas, skills, to make sure your child knows how to do the basics of reading, and also the same thing with math. So I gave you reading and math today, okay? All right? So just the next 2 months, decide right now what kind of grades you want your child to get when they go back to school. How confident you want them to be. Do you want them to be better at sitting down and focusing? Do you want them to feel like they can, when it's time for them to take a test, they have test-taking strategies now, and they do better? Do you want this school year to be the best school year your child has ever had? Start today. Write down everything that you feel first, little rough draft, everything every area you feel like your child needs to grow in. Then do an assessment. Assess in these areas and see if there's anything else. Put an action plan together and get to work. You got this. All right? And I got your back. All right? Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming around, hanging with me on a Saturday. I couldn't wait to talk to y'all today. Thanks for sharing this moment. My baby girl, Maya, my youngest, she loves to talk to y'all. She loves to do videos. You're probably seeing videos with her on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and YouTube. She absolutely loves it. So thank you for sharing the time with us. And also remember about my summer program. If you're looking for a summer program, it's online, it's virtual. But man, the way that I connect with my students and the way that I be in their face, you think it's in person, okay? So more information on that. Send us a message and we'll send you more information. You want to book an assessment for your child and get into the tutoring coaching program? We got you on that, all right? Thank you again. Love y'all. Believe in yourself. Believe in your child, honey. And always remember that growth is unlimited. Peace.